Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to a Horizon Forbidden West video. So the topic of this video today is I'd like to make a new game perfect file. And so this is just my opinion about what a new game perfect file should be. It's very subjective, and I would love to hear, of course, different thoughts about whether you think this is appropriate, whether you think I missed anything, things like that. So I'm going to try to cover as much as I can and do it in a reasonably time efficient manner. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my stash because I'll need to show some stuff there. Okay, so before getting in there, let's just go into the sub menu. We'll start with the criteria here. So first criteria, you should of course platinum the game. I don't think I can show you that because if I get out of the game, it won't record those sections. But I don't think it records if you go to the main PlayStation 5 menu. But in any case, it goes without saying. Number one, you should platinum the game. Number two, which is the harder thing to do, under game progression, you need to get 100% game completion. There's some a bit of confusion, by the way, on what the 100% means or how do you get 100%. So it's actually not too complicated. In order for you to get 100% within the game, you simply have to get everything that's on this page. So you can see the number of quests. You can see all the different activities from Rebel Outposts to Gauntlet Ruins and Gauntlet Runs. Did I say Gauntlet Ruins? No, sorry, Gauntlet Runs. So you have to fulfill or do all the activities, and then you have to get all the legendary outfits and weapons. The machine sites is actually not referring to the location, but the actual different versions of the machines in the game, both the major types and also the different variations. So you need to scan all of them. As you can see, there's 102 different types. And then, of course, you have to collect everything. So if you do all of that, that kind of wraps itself up. And getting 100% essentially ensures that you're getting everything else done that you need. So platinum the game, get 100%. As you can see, if you do get 100% and you go to the machine catalog, you're going to see that there's no blank spaces here. So there's 43 different categories, and within each category there are various variations. So you can see that if you get 100% and you've scanned all 102 different versions, that you're going to have every single one of these filled out, and there will be no blank spaces. Okay. So do that. Character bios goes without saying, but if you just play the regular game, this should automatically unlock. Some of them are associated with side quests, so that's fine because getting 100% in the game, you're going to have to unlock all the side quests anyways. Okay, so get all the character bios. Again, if you got 100% of the game, every collectible will be filled in as well. The data points, by the way, are not tracked by the 100% page, but in order for you to have a perfect game, it goes without saying that you need to get every single data point. So go ahead and do that. There were, for many months after the game's release, you were actually unable to get some of these data points. They were bugged out, but they fixed all of them. The most recent one was data point number 63 in the world. It's called a world data point right here, text data point 63, appropriately named whoops, and they just patched it about a week ago. So you should be able to get every single data point in the game. You should do that if you want to get a perfect save, perfect file. We did the game progression, and then of course statistics and tutorials you don't really need much about. We'll go back to the statistics later, so I can talk about kind of what I did in the game. But it does take a while to do all of this, but not as long as I spent because I was a rookie at Horizon Forbidden West, and it took me a while to even kind of learn how to play the game properly. So going to quests, I have always a job active, but in reality I don't really need to do that. We can go to the arena, for instance, and just turn off the job. There's certain quests that can never be fully completed. The arena is one of them, as is the hunting grounds, as well as the melee pits. You can see that they're never ever finished because they want you to go back in and continue playing those as you need to. So moving over to the map, this is the map of Horizon Forbidden West. So one of my definitions of a perfect game is that every millimeter of the map, from the east all the way to the west, needs to be completely defogged. And that's only done if you have physically either flown over it, or if you're swimming or you're walking. You can see that all of that land is completely defogged. Okay. In addition to that, while we're on the map, throughout the location of the map, there are going to be green shine locations. Depending on where you read online, it's anywhere from 80 to 82 green shine locations. And you can get green shine fragments and chunks and slabs, etc. And green shine is a little bit of a special resource of the game because it is a finite resource, meaning that it doesn't respawn infinitely. So part of a perfect game is you do need to somehow find every single green shine location in this game. Now there's a few sunken caverns around here, like a sunken cavern at Shearside Mountain. There's another sunken cavern over here in the Gouge, and those are explored using your diving mask, and almost always they're filled with green shine, and you won't get the completed description next to the location until you've gotten every single piece of green shine in that sunken cavern. But again, all of these have to be completed, and you have to get every single green shine location of the game in order for you to have a perfect game. All right, so much for that in terms of the maps. It goes without saying that under the skill tree, every single skill tree needs to be completely finished, completely maxed out. Let's go over now to inventory. So for inventory, under special gear, this is what you're going to have. If you've done everything in the game, you're going to have 33 arena medals left over. These are all quest related, and so that's not too exciting. You really can't. I don't really think you can miss any of these. In terms of the strike pieces, this is for the game Machine Strike. So you can play up to 4 of each piece on the board at the same time, and that's the maximum. So some of the pieces are so powerful they don't allow you to play more than one of them actually at a time. But you're allowed to buy 4 of each and put it in your inventory pouch. Anything over that, of course, goes to your stash. So as part of a perfect game, you want to get the maximum 4 out of 4 for every single Machine Strike piece in the game. And you can see that I do have indeed 4 out of 4 of every single piece that's out there. Okay. And you can buy these from the strike carvers at the hunting grounds location, or you can get it from the master strike player at the arena. While we're on the subject of strike, while you don't have to max it out in order to get a platinum, and while playing Machine Strike does not count towards your 100%, as part of my definition of a perfect game, you need to track down and you need to beat every single Machine Strike player in the game. And as you can see, I'll just give you an example right over here. You can see that the Machine Strike Masters here, and then there's a Machine Strike Expert. And you want this to be green. She never turns green. It doesn't ever even start being blue, but you have to beat her as well, obviously. But there's 16 Machine Strike players in the entire game, including the Master, who plays at the mall. And all of those players need to be found and defeated. You can see, for instance, right over here, we have Machine Strike Skilled in Hidden Ember, which I track down and beat. So in terms of Machine Strike, you need to beat every single Machine Strike player, all 16 people, to have a perfect game. In terms of the resources, you are going to have resources that you use to upgrade pouches, and you're also going to have resources that you use to make food, and also resources to make ammunition. So for all of these, you need to have max in your inventory, and that means you need to have 35 out of 35 of every single pouch upgrade resource, as you can see, and you also need 35 out of 35 of every single food resource in the game. Now, this used to be actually more difficult than even beating the regular game, because the only way to get these was by actually farming the animals that drop them, and the drops are uncommon to rare, and it takes a while. It took me, I think, well over 20 hours to do this. But in the recent patch, Guerrilla Games made it very, very easy. They made all of these resources, both the pouch upgrade as well as the food resources, buyable. Just go to the herbalist, and the more you move west, the more different types of resources the herbalist will sell, until finally we get all the way to Legacy's Landfall. You can buy literally every single thing you see here. It just costs a lot of money. It may take you, tens of thousands of shards to do it, but it's definitely easier to get shards and then use the shards to buy these, resources than to actually farm them yourself. So 35 out of 35, and then for the ammunition, you also want maximum that you can carry all the way throughout here as well. You can see that this is all maxed out. Finally, of course, the healing berries should be maxed out, 42 out of 42. Now, in terms of the dye plants, these are the plants you use to change your costume, to change the dyes, and they don't have a maximum. It's just however many you wind up collecting. So as long as you have just one or a few of every single dye plant, that should be good enough, because it's impossible to max this resource out. Ammo, we already went over. This ammo also includes, by the way, the different traps. You have the basic traps, the advanced, and the elite. And so it goes without saying that you also want to have the maximum number of traps as well as tripwires, all of these things out there. Okay, so you can see all of the ammo here is maxed out. These are related to the weapon wheel. And then for tools, I have 9 stamina potions. You can only carry 9 potions at a time, so there is no max. I have several hundred of the other ones in the stash, but I carry 9, and then you carry traps under your tools. And so all the traps should be maximum as well. You can see 12 out of 12 throughout, okay, for all 12 types of traps. Coils and weaves are an interesting thing. I don't put that as a criteria for a perfect game because, again, coils, you just buy them or you get them from quest drops, and different people will have different ideas of what they want to use their coils for. And so in terms of a perfect game, I don't have much to say about that. I would say that if you're going to run multiple New Game Plus runs, where you can collect the coils over and over again, that it would be nice to have at least 5 of each type of major coil that you're interested in, because you can upgrade, obviously, a maximum of 5 slots in a legendary weapon or armor. And so 5 of any coil that you want that's like a more rare coil, like for instance a long range plus 25 or a close range plus 25, 5 of those would be appropriate for a perfect game. But in a new game playthrough, without the benefit of running multiple runs in a new game plus format, it's impossible to get 5 of 5. You can sometimes only get 1 or 2 or 3. And so I don't actually have coils and weaves in my definition of a perfect game. So now that leaves us to weapons and outfits. These just happen to be the outfits that I carry in my inventory. They're mostly legendary, but of course, there's way more weapons and outfits in the game, and the extras I have stored in my stash. And so going into the stash, I'm going to take a look here at the different weapons. So it's important at this point then to point out that for a perfect game, you do need to take the time to locate and obtain every single weapon in the game and every single outfit in the game. Some of them, of course, you can't obtain because they're part of a special edition which you have to purchase. So that's fine. You don't need that for a perfect game. But every other weapon and outfit you should have. And when you do have them, it's important also that every single weapon and armor in the game is fully upgraded. So you can see here that I have my Lightning Hunter Bow, and you can see that below the lightning there, you can see the little markers. You can see that all 5 are filled in, which means it's maximally upgraded. So you do want to upgrade every single weapon, no matter how weak or how strong, you want to fully upgrade. So I'll go through that and show you that that's indeed what I have done. You can see that every one of them, from the purple to the blue to the green, are completely upgraded, and that none needs to be upgraded here. So there you go. Those are all the weapons. And if you want to go to outfits, there's I think 40 of them. So I'm going to just move through them, and so you can see that all of these different outfits are also maximally upgraded as well. Going back to the Tanakh High Marshal outfit, this is a outfit that you only get if you choose to spare a character named Regala at the end of the Wings of the Ten main quest, which is near the end of the game. So if you choose to spare her, you're going to get her outfit, which you can max out. If you choose to execute her, you get her bow, called Regala's Bow, which you can then max out. So as part of a perfect game, you obviously cannot get both. You would need New Game Plus to get both. And so it's okay to either miss the bow or the Tanakh High Marshal outfit because you're going to have the other one maxed out. So that is one of the exceptions to every single weapon and armor in the game. So if you go to inventory and you go under weapons, you're going to see that this is what I carry with me. And again, it's all maxed out. And if you go under the outfits, you can see that they're all maxed out as well. Okay. So, and if you want to go to outfits and take a look at the resources, you can see that I have quite a few resources for upgrades, a lot of different parts. And when it gets to the ammunition, it gets a little bit crazy. You can see here, if you want to see that. Remember, they can only carry so much in a pouch. So when you farm more than that, it goes automatically to your stash. So you can see, for instance, I have 13,000 machine muscles, 15,000 ridgewoods, 5,300 volatile sludges, 14,000 chill water. So I have more than enough resources to make as much ammo as I really realistically need. So that's not a problem. And how did I get so much ammunition resources? Because as part of my definition of a perfect game, I also feel like you need to get a lot of shards. And how much shards? Well, I want to be a part of the Millionaires Club. And so you can see I have 1,155,822 shards. But part of a perfect game, you need to have 1 million shards. Because if you grind 1 million shards, you will, by definition, have thousands of ammunition and you'll never run out. Okay, so another part of the definition of a perfect game is 1 million shards. It goes without saying you'll be level 50. You can't help yourself from reaching level 50 if you've done everything in the game. And those are the extra skill points, by the way, over there that you see. So in addition to this, there's one last little wrinkle. If you are at the arena, you'll know that the arena actually keeps track of what you have done. And so part of the definition of a perfect game, in my opinion, is to at least beat every single battle of the arena on very hard. So if you go to amateur, we'll highlight it. You go to the very last one. So the first couple, as you know, you can use any loadout you want, but the last one is a leadership one. The leaderboard battle, and that's your loadout is locked. So you can see that right now I'm on very hard. If you look at the leaderboard, you need to be able to go to very hard, and you want to show that you've beaten it on very hard under the time limit. So you can see here that my name is Snot Doc, and I beat it below 5 minutes for this one. Now you can't do ultra hard because that's only available for New Game Plus. But for very hard, you need to be able to beat it on very hard, no cheating. And then if you go to the intermediate, let's view the leaderboard. You can see that I'm there, 147. Also, whoops, that's on the story. Let's go to very hard. You can see that I did do it under 3 minutes and 30 seconds, under very hard. And if you go to skilled, we're going to go there again, and we're going to go all the way to very hard. You can see under very hard, 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I've been under 5 minutes. That's the time limit. You go to dreaded encounter, go to very hard as well, and then you can see that I beat it under 3 minutes. And then finally, if you go to legendary, under apex predators, under very hard, you can see that I did do it under 730. So that's also part of my definition, at least, of a perfect game, is to beat every single arena challenge, the leaderboard challenges, under the time limit on the difficulty very hard. Okay. Now ultra hard is sort of tricky because you can't actually access ultra hard until you have started a new game plus, or unless you start a new game after the patch. And so it's a bit unfair to make ultra hard on the arena part of a perfect game when it wasn't even introduced until a week ago, and this game has been out for months. So I don't put the ultra hard as part of the perfect game criteria. So we're gonna get out of here now.
Always open to you.
And so that's basically my criteria, my personal criteria, just for myself, for what I feel is a perfect game file. I made a video of it because it takes so much to kind of go through. If you want to look at my statistics, these are the machines I've killed. It gives you all of the combat, the times I played, you know, all of this stuff, how many machines I killed, how many wildlife I killed. You can see I killed over 2,800 different types of wildlife. And that's what it took in order to max out those pouch resources, which those of you who are newer to the game, you won't need to do because obviously you just have to buy the resources. You can also see very interestingly that I killed 1,141 tremor tusks, because that's the machine that you use to grind for shards. And to get over 1.1 million shards, you have to kill a lot of tremor tusks. And then finally, you can see I killed about 1,100 human beings as well. The reason for that is because the only way to get this food resource called a desert birdwing, because of again of an oversight in the game's programming, which doesn't allow that resource to drop from a vulture. The only way to kill or to get a desert birdwing is the random drop from killing a rebel Tanakh in the Plainson area, and so I had to kill about 500 of those to get the 35 desert birdwings that I needed to max out. And you can imagine it was a little bit, I don't know, annoying to find out later on after I did it that they just put a patch in and you could just buy 35 desert bird wings in about 5 seconds. But that's kind of the way gaming works. As for the time, do you really need to spend close to 300 hours to get a perfect game? The answer is clearly no. I never played Horizon Zero Dawn, and so it took me many, many hours to learn to properly play Forbidden West. Made a lot of mistakes, a little bit slow. I used grinding to upgrade resources very slowly as well at the beginning. So you can definitely probably get a 100% playthrough in, I would say maybe 100, half the time, maybe 150, 160 hours, but certainly not 282. So that's enough for now for me. I'm going to start a new game plus playthrough, and finally experience some of the things, see what's new. But before I did that, I wanted to make this video that just kind of very nicely summarizes what I feel is a perfect game for somebody who's playing it for the very first time. So if you have any questions, you can put it below, or if you have any, again, you want to point out anything I missed, you can put that below, and I'll be happy to take a look at them. I do realize, by the way, that for outfits, you can definitely, take off the weaves, but I don't really like to do that. I like to keep the different weaves on the original outfit, unless there's a really good reason to. And since you can only wear one outfit at a time, then I didn't see much point in collecting weaves constantly as well. So I did want to address that in case some of you are wondering, maybe I should take all the weaves off of the outfits and get another outfit and max it out again. I considered that, but I just didn't feel like that added much to a perfect game definition, because it's just you're just not using more than one outfit at a time anyways. So there you go. Hope you found that somewhat interesting as somebody who really likes to maximize or complete a completionist version of analysis of what the perfect game is like. And until next time, do take care.